All right, guys, and welcome back. Now we're going to look at a very cool example of real-world assets on the blockchain. And the example I wanna take for this is the Art Exchange. The Art Exchange is actually a Dutch-based a company based in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. I also know them personally, and it's built on top with actually inspiration on top of the Opium network. And the Opium network is a universal protocol to create, settle, and trade any derivative, right? So what they actually created is a way to actually trade different art positions. As you might be aware of, so that art is a actually very lucrative and a very stable investment throughout the time. So a lot of the whales, a lot of the big ballers, they're investing a lot of value into different art objects, and um, they then collect the art and then later hope to sell them for a higher price to another collector, or try to keep it to store a certain amount of family wealth or of wealth. And this has a couple of reasons. So on art, one, there's no tax. So this is a really good tax escape haven for all the money printers. So a lot of money that's now being printed that goes to all the rich bank executives. They are all going to buy like expensive art. Yeah, and actually the art exchange makes that makes that whole process quite efficient, but also makes it so that like also smaller investors can own a small piece of a Rembrandt or of a bigger painting. So as collectors can tokenize collected artwork. So if you're a rich art collector, you can tokenize your artwork from your collection and the pictures that you send are verified by a trusted art expert. So when you have this expensive art piece, this is verified by a trusted expert on the blockchain, and then you can get an instant loan on your art piece. So let's say you're a art collector, and due to a COVID situation, due to another situation, you come in a little bit of a liquidity issue. You don't want to sell this whole painting, but you want to sell a part of it. So then you can put actually this expensive art collection, part of this expensive art collection, can put it on the blockchain, and you can then tokenize it and then put it as a collateral type, and then borrow some DAI or get some other assets in return. As an art investor, you can have a share in a world famous artwork and trade peer-to-peer derivatives on top of the artwork. So you can start to speculate on certain outcomes, certain artworks, if you're a professional art investor. Or you can own like a nice piece of one of the pieces that you always wanted to own. You can also provide a loan that is over collateralized by a piece of art and receive an attractive interest rate over it. That's really interesting. So you can actually provide then again liquidity to this art market, and then you can earn an interest on top of that. And all platform users can buy insurance, provide guarantee, or make complex financial contracts on the future artwork sales, so-called derivatives. Participation in the future auction of sales of the lending auction house as money title as much as you. Participants in future auction sales of the leading auction houses with as little money as you want. So you can actually be part of this big art collection deals with as little money as you want. All right, so playtime is over. So like we saw in 2017, we saw all these weird ICOs popping up in 2018 and even 2019, even 2020. We still see them. But I think as a market, we grow mature enough to understand that most of the ICOs are scams, and to understand that not just invest in token without understanding its token economic value or its underlying assets. And that makes a lot of sense. And for good reasons. We got a lot of hate and a lot of blame from the outside community, like, oh, there's no value in assets, there's no value in crypto. Yeah, it was partly true because there were a lot of people claiming there was, but there wasn't. So playtime is over with these concepts, similar to how Uniswap works. The Uniswap founders said it really nicely. They said, first, I want to build a good product, and then I want to monetize it. Same with the art exchange. They first want to build this good product and then start monetizing in different ways to earn value on top of this. You can see here their interesting roadmap that they're following right now. So tokenized fine art and derivatives. How does that exactly work, right? So you can see it. Instruments for collecting art ownership and tokenizations. You can actually see it like as a collector brings in a art piece to be either sold, fractionalized, or borrowed money against. So you can see that here, right? So there is a art piece sold here, and then as a outsider, you can actually speculate on its value. You can say, well, I think it will be sold for 10 million. The other one says, no, I will be sold for 12 million. And in February, Picasso was sold for 12 million. So either the price goes up of the art piece or it goes down. And when the art piece then eventually sold for 17.2 million, the person that actually bets says, no, it will be sold for 14 million. It's more closer, so then they will gain that speculative value there. Also, what is possible, you can also borrow money to the protocol and earn an interest. So let's say there is this interesting art piece that somebody puts as a collateral type to borrow money. So then when the collateral type is put back, he can sell part of his of the artwork again to pay the interest, and that circle then repeats. I would recommend to go to the art exchange website. It's basically the art exchange website itself. You can see here the art.exchange, and you can actually read all about it right here. And also a really interesting fact about the art exchange is that when we go to the price oracles, let's go, then we can actually see all the different artworks that they already categorized in their on the blockchain and they use the protocol for already. So this is quite interesting. So we can see some quite big paintings from this big auction house author, The Triumph of Alexandria. So you can see here this Triumph of Alexandria being painted like a very long time ago, but it's still like in somebody's art collection. It's now like in this price oracle, and later when the protocol goes live, people can invest in this art piece, people can use it as a collateral type, etc., etc., etc. You can see here, so this painting is actually being auctioned right now on is in a price oracle in the art exchange, and then later we can put on that, we can use it as collateral type, we can trade derivatives against it, and much more in the future. So very excited about the art exchange project, and let's keep track of these guys and see when they will launch and when they will open up. In the description below are some interesting Medium articles that will explain more about this project. Thank you, and see you in the next slide where we're going to discuss centrifuge.